Welcome to the party. I'm not here right now, but I want you to listen very carefully. These guys are very funny, so pay attention. Enough talk. It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve, my co-host is Pete.
Hello.
This episode we're talking about The Hidden from 1987, and this film was Pete's choice.
It was. I've seen this film a number of times.
How many?
It's one of those, it's got to be 6 or 7.
Okay.
I think I did own it at one point on VHS. It's one of those films that I think I saw the trailer for this on something else, and possibly there was one of those cardboard standee signs in the video shop for it when it came out as well. And it's a perennial favourite from my teenage years, and one I believe you'd never seen before.
Correct. I'd never seen it or even heard of it, and yet it's got a lot of actors in that I've seen in many, many other things I know all about.
There seems to be a running thing over the years we've done this show is if it's a B movie, I'll have seen it and you probably haven't. And if it's an absolute classic everyone's heard of, you've seen it and I probably haven't.
Yep.
So, that's fair. That's good. It's balance. It's all about balance.
So this is directed by Jack Shoulder.
Jack Shoulder.
The name's familiar.
Yes.
He's done.
Yes, well, he directed something that I know you're a fan of.
One of my favourite films that the actors don't even like.
Renegades. Yes.
1989.
That was if only the podcast Unjustly Maligned was still going, because you could definitely go on there with that.
I think so.
He also did some of the Tremors TV series as well. And the writer is called Bob Hunt, which is not his real name, which does make me think, did he just put a different name on this film, which would upset me. But his real name is Jim, I think it's pronounced Koof, who's written things like Stakeout, Rush Hour, National Treasure, and he's created the TV series Grimm.
Which is a great show. I love that show.
Which I've never seen. See, again, if you watch it, I don't watch it. No, I need to try it.
It's somewhere between Supernatural, the TV show, and like Grimm's fairy tales type thing. Really, really good. Builds really well the series, and it wrapped up fairly comfortably. And sort of, I was satisfied with the ending. It wasn't the best ending, but I was satisfied with it. So, okay. So the cast of this film, The Hidden, is quite interesting because there's people that I know very well, like Cal MacLachlan, Claudia Christian, Edo Ross, who's been in everything, Richard Brooks, who've seen a lot of things too.
Michael Neary.
He's someone I don't know.
See, he's got like this burning intensity thing. He's got this like almost Eastwood kind of old school thing. He's one of those people I wish had gone on to do more. In fairness, you type in his name and it comes up actor The Hidden. So maybe this is the pinnacle.
Well, looking down his IMDb, he's done a fair bit of stuff from NCIS on television to a new show called The Slap as well a while ago.
Nice.
He's continuing to work. He's been a successful, actor in the business, which I guess is the challenge. A lot of them say I've seen people in the past say if you're a B-level actor or C-level actor, it's getting work and staying in work is the problem because there's so many other people competing for a limited number of roles.
He was in the 1990 Captain America film.
Right, there you go.
Not the more recent one.
But if you look, since The Hidden, he's had at least 2 or 3 credits every single year.
Now, American Yakuza is him, and I believe Viggo Mortensen. That is a film we should do at some point. But that's where I kind of saw him next, I think.
Not seen it, of course.
No, of course not. It's a B movie that was straight to video, so of course you haven't seen it. But it was Viggo Mortensen's first starring role, I think.
Okay.
So I saw him in that before
Lord of the Rings.
The many Lord of the Rings and the many other things that he's been in. So
I mean, he's a jobbing actor. He's a guy who's been working consistently since the 1980s, which, I would say that's a success.
I agree.
Some people you look at and they go 1987, and there's nothing to like 1985, and you go, "What have you been doing for 8 years?" And it's like, well, we have been trying to get work, but he's obviously built up a big back catalogue. So I don't think I've ever seen him in anything and gone, "Oh, it's Michael Nouri." So when I watched him in this, I thought it's an interesting choice for a lead. He's quite subtle. He doesn't do a lot of emoting until things get really tense. But he's definitely not. He's an atypical actor, I would say, for a lead role.
And it's kind of. I mean, it's not Charles Bronson-ish. Nope. It's not, but it's that. It's kind of a certain age. It's almost like he's an actor that he's more like a 70s actor. But then it's like 87. Maybe that's the point. Like that's maybe the last time you could have somebody like that in it. But having said that, like Carl MacLachlan's turn in this film is I think. Well, they're really good at it. I mean, it's almost a buddy cop movie.
Almost.
And I think it came out the same year as Lethal Weapon with a slightly smaller budget.
I've got to say, Carl MacLachlan in this, I think he's almost got to be about, maybe 15 years old, maybe 16. He may have just finished puberty, I think, but it's difficult to tell.
He does look very young.
He looks about 12. And what they do with the role, of course, and the way he's acting on purpose, and I know he can act. I've seen him in many things, and he's a really good actor. But in this, what they've done, it just makes him seem, like a child.
Well, he's 58 now. His birthday, he's going to be 59 next month. Mm-hmm. So when we talking, this was 87. So 31 years ago, he was 27.
Wow, he did not look. I would have guessed he was like 21, 22 maximum. But yes, he looks very, very young in this role. Yeah, interesting.
So again, it's one of these films. It's actually quite hard to get hold of this film. And it's not particularly well known. It's kind of a bit of a cult classic, really.
Yes.
So we are going to spoil it, but it may be too hard to get hold of. So you may have to listen along, even if you haven't got a chance to see it. Yeah. I guess.
Yes.
But it had a sequel, but I haven't seen it. Which, this was a B movie, sort of, I think, straight to video. But then the as happens to these things, the sequel had none of the people in it. I believe they appeared in flashbacks, and then the people on that I don't think are working in 2018, put it like that. So I don't think I'm ever going to watch the sequel.
I don't think you should. No.
I learned from the Roadhouse sequel not to watch sequels to films which have got none of the original actors in.
Yep. That's the lesson. That's what you should learn from that. So we should say the film kicks off with a bank robbery, but a very bizarre one, because the guy who's doing it is looking at the camera. He's really wild. He doesn't seem particularly prepared. So given that I'd not seen this film before, I went in and thought, what on earth is going on? There's this maniac who's with a shotgun. He's killing people. He takes the money. And then he doesn't he just go out and get in the car and drive away, and there's a car chase with the police.
It's got this, it's complete, that's a running theme, really. It's kind of this hedonist thing of, rob a bank, get in a fast car, turn the rock music on a cassette up really loud, and then drive along. He hits a guy in a wheelchair.
Oh,
if I remember rightly.
That was quite shocking.
Yeah. So it's interesting because obviously I've seen it before, and I was remembering stuff quite a lot. I remember it all came kind of flooding back, and I was kind of looking for the things that would be clues to what happened later. But it's been long enough ago, over 30 years, that I can't remember exactly, how I felt the first time. So it's great to be doing it with you, who hasn't seen it at all, because it's like, hearing it full for the first time again.
So at this point, I was thinking, well, this guy's just a maniac because he's got the music on, he's driving the fast car, he's donutting to escape the police, he's smashing into things, he takes out a number of other cars, he takes out some cop cars, and I thought, it's making the cops look like fools in the film. But then they do something smart that you don't often see. The police have basically been cornering him and guiding him to a certain place, and have set up a barricade, and they're there with all the guns. and the guy's coming towards them in the car, and I thought, well, he's going to stop. He's going to get out, and he's probably going to, just get shot or something or make a run for it. And he doesn't. He guns the engine and just tries to ram the barricade, and they just unload all their guns into the car. And he still goes through the barricade, even though he's been hit, and the car is smashed to pieces.
Yeah, and it's there's an awful lot of bullets used in this film.
Yes,
definitely. So you kind of see Michael Neary properly there, and you see Ed Ross as his partner, who we'll remember from Red Heat. I think we covered before with him in.
Yes.
And what I really like from a kind of writing perspective is they go to the hospital, because the guy
is death by cop.
Yeah, pretty much, and he's kind of on a life support, but he's not going to be. They aren't going to be able to question him, and. The doctor's like, you shot him so much. Why did you do that? And Ed Ross tells you the fact that this guy had no criminal record. He'd never done anything before, but tells you some of the terrible thing that he'd done in the last few days. But it's done in a really natural way. It feels like he would say that in temper to justify it to the. That's why, from watching it again, a bit older and a bit wiser, it's kind of like this film does a really good job of giving the audience lots of information, but it never feeling like the conversation is for the viewer's benefit.
Yeah.
It always feels like the characters are actually genuinely finding stuff out, which I think is really, again, for a film that most people haven't heard of from the 80s, I actually think writing-wise it's quite a way ahead of some of its similar films.
Because he went on a spree and killed 12 people and injured 23 others. So you just get the idea that when we saw him in the bank, that's something he's been doing and he enjoys doing, and he's some kind of crazed maniac. And at this point, we then have Lloyd Gallagher turn up. Special Agent Lloyd Gallagher, just out of preschool from the FBI, in the form of Carl McLachlan. His mum said, here's a note, you can go to the hospital and check on your suspect.
If they'd taken him and Johnny Utah from Point Break, it could have been like the two youngest FBI agents in history.
It's true, yeah.
Working together.
Yes, so he's been chasing this guy for a long time, apparently. Probably so it must have been since the spree began.
Yep.
And he's after Jack DeVries. And Beck, who is Michael Neary's character, you get the impression that he's actually quite a nice guy and he's a good cop. And he's trying to accommodate him, but he really doesn't want to. There's that great funny scene where he realizes his lieutenant's like, you got to work with the FBI, and he's like, fine. And he gets the folder, and there's a guy across the room going, no, don't you do it, no. And as soon as he puts the folder on his desk, he has to take the file. It's like, I have to take the case now. It's like, yep, he doesn't want to, but he's not a. So Beck's not a loose cannon. Yeah, man, fight the system. It's like, okay, I know what I have to do. I'll work with the FBI because it's...
And actually, I think that's one of the reasons it's not quite a buddy cop movie, because although it does, they don't get on particularly well and they get on better later.
Yeah.
It does follow that pattern, but that neither of them, is the kind of the comic relief, and neither of them is the, like you say, the kind of slightly the crazed one or breaking the rules. It's actually just, well, there is more to come story wise about one of the characters, but they're just two people with a slightly different approach.
Yeah.
Which is quite, I think it's interesting. And again, this is obviously 1987 peak buddy cop period, or kind of, well, I guess when it all kicked off from, I know there were films before Lethal Weapon, and I say obviously the writer did do Stakeout, and there's things like 48 Hours and stuff, but I guess Lethal Weapon was the one that kind of almost created a subgenre in a way.
This is where the film takes a really weird sci-fi twist that I didn't expect at all. Because Jack DeVries, the gunman who's been shot to pieces and he's dying, there's a man in the room with him, another patient who's got a dicky heart, who's sort
of older guy,
50s or something, and he doesn't look in a good way. DeVries gets up, stumbles over to the other bed, opens his mouth, and an alien bugworm thing comes out of him and into the other guy, possessing him and taking him over. And he drops to the floor, dead. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that pretty much your reaction at the time? You're like, I was just like, what have you given me to watch here?
At that, I thought, what the flip is going on here?
Did you? Because at that point, did you not? Because I'd forgotten if I don't remember. I've told you it's a sci-fi action film. No, I hadn't. Okay, so as far as you consider, it was a straight up cop film. And it's like there's a giant slug crawling from this guy's mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. I think even though I knew that it was coming and I've seen it many times before, it still isn't any less shocking because it is such a tonal shift, and it is. But I like, as an audience member, it's just like, what the hell? And this film's quite funny in its own kind of. It's got quite a lot of dark humour to it. So we kind of what happens now is we shift our focus to the second person, the old guy, and we follow him as he goes to steal from a record store, don't we?
Yes. He goes in, gets some more heavy metal cassettes, puts them in his pocket, beats up the owner and clubs him to death with a bat. Takes money out the till.
Takes a ghetto blaster from the cabinets. Yeah,
and then walks out with it.
Yep.
And then Beck's there again, and it's like, okay, there's another body. And now they've heard that the man in hospital's got up and walked out. They hear that the other guy's dead. And Lloyd's kind of saying, oh, well, I was after this guy too. And at that point, the audience now knows that that's nonsense. But Beck doesn't. He doesn't understand and doesn't really know.
But every now and then, Beck's like, well, hang on, where you're describing it, you're describing which one do you mean now? And they do plant seeds quite nicely. And the first seed of what's coming later is planted not long after this. So they're starting to go through the buddy cop thing of like, who'll drive? You'll drive, I'll drive. And you go, I'll take my car. And all the way through, we've been told about Ferraris, haven't we? It's always Ferraris that the killer goes for. And so then Carl McLaughlin's character gets in his Porsche. And he's like, oh, gosh, how much are the FBI paying now? Where did you get this from? He goes, oh, I stole it. And he laughs it off. Laughs it off.
Yep.
And then we see the old guys in a diner with his...
ghetto blaster on.
Yeah, with his ghetto blaster on really loud and also eating like fried food with a very bad heart. So you could just hear his stomach gurgling.
And he's farting and burping.
Yeah.
But the crowd's really funny in the diner because they're so British about him. They don't get up and say anything. They just give him dirty looks. So they tut under their breath in case he hears them and just gives him dirty looks. But there's an important plot bit here because on the TV... There's a guy who's running for who's a senator, and he might possibly be running for president, and he's coming to the city. And I thought, okay, that's the gun on a mantelpiece thing. You've shown it. If you don't use it later on,
then that's that. But it's again the humour in this. He goes and steals a car from a dealership, but we quite like the fact that the guy buying the car is a bit of a knob.
Yep.
And a cokehead, and the guy selling it to him is also a bit of a knob.
Yep.
So it's a weird thing because although, these alien possessed people are multi-murderers, car thieves, etc., they do play some of those scenes for laughs. Not like barrel loads of laughs, but kind of they're darkly funny. I think they do take the kind of the humour for it. So basically stealing the car. The guy's just signed the paperwork for it, so he doesn't want him to hand over the keys. But the car dealer's like, just give him the keys, and he still gets killed.
Oh, he's going to shoot you anyway. And then he takes the keys and shoots them both with a shotgun. Yeah. Having already killed the muscle who tried to chase him out of the dealership.
And it's at this point kind of the buddy cops are starting to bond a little bit. So... and the old guy's body is starting to give way. So obviously the alien is moving from body to body, but depending on the state of the body, it will depend how that kind of goes. And he's already kind of leaking from the arm. You start to see like a tentacle.
Yeah, I thought at this point that it must be relying on the human bodies to be quite in good nick, and the guy that he's jumped into is damaged.
Because he had no choice, really, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, so I've put, is the new body too damaged or too old? Mm-hmm. Is that why it's kind of breaking down and stuff?
I think it is, and I think what happened was at the point De Vries was going to die, he had to get out of that body, but the only person there at that time was the other patient, because as the story goes on, it's kind of almost like it starts off being kind of just whoever's the nearest, and it becomes a little bit more kind of calculated. But a scene again that reminded me a lot of Lethal Weapon is when Beck invites Gallagher over for dinner. Mm-hmm. What did you think of this scene?
It's quite interesting because So if you compare it to Lethal Weapon, you've got the thing where Murtaugh and Riggs is the kind of outsider, and he's very different and very weird, and yet you can see that there's a loving family, and it feels very comfortable and it feels very real. And in this, it feels like a normal family as well. It felt genuine that Beck's wife is obviously being worried about him when he's at work and stuff, and it felt like they're actual husband and wife, and his little girl. It's a child actress, and back in the 80s, not the best. However, she's important later on.
She is, and she starts to be important here because there's a little bit of there's kind of a clue when.
Yeah, that's to talk
Gallagher,
about later, because she's introduced to Gallagher, to Lloyd, and Lloyd kind of looks at her in a creepy way, and the child stares back at him in a creepy fashion.
In the way that in films, of course, children and dogs can see what makes you tick.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and she doesn't like him and runs away or refuses to say hello.
And you find out during this meal, his kind of backstory a little bit, that the bad guy, which is more or less all he says.
Yeah.
But obviously, because it's a shape-shifting alien, has killed his partner and his wife and child. And then there's a bit like, well, I'm surprised the FBI let you be on this case. But also, I think, again, it's quite funny because he's this kind of naive character that he gets drunk for the first time.
He's very stiff and very kind of formal and a bit wooden. And at first, if you didn't know any better, you think that Kyle MacLachlan's a terrible actor. But he's not. So they've really done that on purpose to make him seem a little artificial, which is appropriate, I think. Slightly
affected because he does go, "Do you love your daughter?" so of course I love our daughter. What are you on about? Mm-hmm. It's interesting. So then our mate, the guy who's possessed the body, his body is starting to really struggle, but he's starting to kind of look for women, and he finds a business card, I think, which was the guy who bought the Ferrari that he stole, and it's takes him to kind of a strip bar. Again, it's a film from the late 80s. There has to be a scene in a strip bar.
Well, before that, he went to the guy's office, which to the export business, and it's full of arms and guns. So some kind of is an undercover arms and art dealer as well, which is quite dodgy, and he takes a load of guns. But yes, he seems to have an interest in cars, women, and loud music, so he goes to a strip club and sits at the bar and drinks. And then the bartender kind of says to him, "Hey buddy, are you alright?" And he's like, "Yes." He goes, you look kind of pale." "I'm fine." And it's like, oh, okay. So that makes another clue that the body's breaking down, really.
Yep. And then you probably were, hang on a second, I recognise that stripper.
I was really not expecting her in this kind of a role at all. Onto the stage comes Brenda Lee Van Buren. It's Claudia Christian as a stripper, who takes off some things, and hasn't she just got money for pants? Like it's just
I think so. Yes,
I couldn't actually look at the screen at some point. I just felt like
it's like one of your family.
It's like looking at looking at your nan from 40 years ago and seeing as a young attractive woman, be like, I can't look at this. This isn't right. So she was on stage briefly, I think. But then the killer goes to see her after the show, and she's just taking off her makeup and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, really? I'm not interested. Get out of here!" And he's there, and she calls for security or someone to come and take care of him.
Yep.
But
I think then you don't see it, and I think it's quite clever. They do a lot of in this film with body language. So you see her walking out of the club, and there's a couple of clues as to three clues mainly to what happened. One, she's walking very stiffly, and there's this kind of almost like tension in the shoulders of whoever the alien has taken over. Secondly, she's carrying the bag, which has got all the guns in it.
Yes.
And thirdly, she's still wearing a stripper outfit with her arse showing. which I have a feeling she maybe usually puts a coat on, or maybe has a nice, cardi.
Yep.
Maybe that she would usually change into.
A nice cardi. We're such middle-aged men. Oh, a nice cardi to keep me bum warm.
I always think if my bum's hanging out, I like to put on a nice woolen, a nice cardi, maybe a jerkin.
We are such old men. It's hilarious. Yes. So I can't remember why the police start turning up or something. Is it because the man's dead in the...
Yeah, in the back. Because security were called. I think they find the body.
But she's about to get back into the car. That's the stolen car, and it's another... Oh, that's right. It's a red sports car that the guy has stolen. The police have found it.
That's right. Because they've basically they're following the guy. He's gone and stolen the car. It's like, well, that's a clue. So that's right.
So she's about to get back into the car, but the police are watching from the front of the club and say, "Stay away from that car, love. Don't get in there." And she's kind of thinking, right, well, what do I do now? When this weird, creepy guy in the street says, "Hey, baby, why don't you come with me?" Yeah, and so she just kind of goes with him
and starts having sex with him, which that's the bit every time I watch him I'm like, why? I don't know why. Just kill him or take his body. Why did you have to have sex with him?
I don't know.
I guess it's part of the hedonism.
It's death by sex because she manages to kill him.
She does.
I don't want to know how the alien did it or what they used. All we know is that he died.
He does die, but then straight the fight. This is, I think, a slight plot hole because straight after that, so it looks down like, I've got boobs. I'm a lady. It starts feeling its own breasts, which makes you think, okay, it's a male alien going, oh, I've got boobs. Yep. But it's just had sex with a man.
Yes.
That didn't really make a lot of sense.
No.
That's the only bit I was like, But then again, this film kind of goes from kind of talky scene straight into action again. So there's another big car chase.
But I basically put, the aliens had sex with a man, and yet it knows how to drive and operate guns and everything else, and yet slightly puzzled by boobs.
Yeah.
That's my question mark. Puzzled by boobs? Question mark? That's what my notes say. Yes, so it steals the car, drives off for the man to just killed, and the cops spot it, and a chase ensues.
And I think this is the point where the regular cops are like, well, hang on, it was that guy, then it was this guy, now we're following this woman. It's like they're starting to think, well, why are these people in no way linked? None of them have got a criminal record, really. So they're all. This is where it's starting to become a bit incredulous to those who are. Well, I guess no one's in the know really, apart from Carl McLaughlin and the audience at this point. No. Still,
and Beck's at the club, and he's seen the dead body, and they've been called in, and they've seen the red sports car, and now they know that something's. He's not buying into it. He's saying, "Oh, it's this guy now." And then they hear that a car's been stolen, and they found another dead body, and the car's missing. So they start then chasing after her in the car.
And I one of the notes up here, even not yet, even for the end of this scene, is I love the fact that in the film, everyone except Gallagher is basically in a straight up cop story.
Yes,
they're in an action thriller. They're not in the sci-fi film, and they're not they're not aware of any of the things that are happening, which I think is the strength of the film, because they could have revealed things a lot sooner, and I think it would have taken the edge of it. But you get another insight here into Gallagher's ability as a marksman, because he's a much better shot than Beck. Yes,
they're chasing after her and shooting the back of the car. And then Gallagher says, "Why don't you shoot one of the tyres?" He's like, "I am. That's what I'm trying to do." He says, "You're such a hot shot, you do it." He says, "Okay." And he gets Beck to hold the steering wheel whilst he leans out the car and shoots out one of the tyres. And the car goes through a window into a building.
Into a spooky place full of mannequins.
That was creepy.
Yeah, it is.
I thought they were going to do the classic of she's standing next to other mannequins, and then one of them moves. No.
If it was Kim Cattrall, they would have done.
God, don't talk about that film. That's a horror film, That's his horror film. It comes alive, and then when he's not looking, the man has sex with it. It's like, that's creepy. Maybe it's an alien in a mannequin. That makes him think it's alive, but it's not.
Could be.
So they have a shootout.
I put here they shoot the shit out of her, which is
I put she's shot about 3 or 4 times, and yet she just keeps going. Doesn't seem to feel it. Doesn't seem to be impaired by it in any way. And then she escapes and goes up to the roof, and they follow.
Yeah, and there's a machine gun. Does she get a big machine gun out at this point? Because Beck ends up hanging off the building, but I can't remember how.
So she, Beck's following her one way, Gallagher's following the other. They split up. Beck finds her first. They struggle. She shoots at him, and it catches him in the arm.
Right, that's right.
And he falls off the roof, but hangs onto the edge. Gallagher comes after her. And he shoots her like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, that's right. And she doesn't fall at all.
No. And then he takes out his weird little silver alien gun thing that I thought, okay, I was waiting for this.
It looks a little bit like a staple remover.
It looks like the grasshopper gun from Men in Black.
That's a better. You know,
where they've all got massive guns, and then he gives Will Smith a tiny little gun. Yeah. It's that. It's a grasshopper.
It is, and I like the fact that Beck is hanging off the building and watching this happen. So he's seeing.
He can't see.
And can't he see? No. I thought he could see.
No, he can't see the gun. He can't see the special alien gun. All he can see is.
I thought he could.
No, he's trying to get up.
No, okay. I should have paid more attention 7 times.
I'm trying to think what happens. He shoots her lots of times. And he pulls out the special alien gun, and instead of facing Gallagher, she takes a nosedive off the roof.
Yeah,
so that's when he goes to help Beck and pulls him back on. And straight away, since he's sure he's okay, he runs down the stairs and goes out the front of the building.
Yeah.
There are police everywhere. The lieutenant's turned up for some reason with his dog.
Yes, yes. And I've put here, the alien becomes a dog. Is that silly? I don't think so. Steve, do you think it's silly?
At this point, I think silly, you can't really apply silly, the word silly to this film. Not because it's not silly, because it wouldn't make sense if you tried to put...
if I'm honest, you say about child actors, the dog doesn't change its shoulders. It doesn't walk differently. Its voice is the same all the way through.
Out like the other characters do.
That's the one thing it does do. Yeah. But, disappointed the dog didn't put a little bit more into it, but never mind. He might be in the sequel.
At this point, Beck knows something weird is going on. He knows that it doesn't make sense that suddenly the stripper's in on it as well, and this is when he loses his temper finally with Gallagher and says to him, "Tell me what's going on." He says, "I nearly died because of this," and he won't tell me. And he's like, I can't tell you." He says, "Fine, you're under arrest." So he gets Edo Willis to arrest him. But they're already too late. The alien's gone, and he knows it's gone, but he doesn't know where. He goes to get his wound tended.
I think the other reason that they arrest him is at the same time they start looking into Gallagher's background, and they find out that he's not Gallagher. He is Stone. So he has taken over the identity, big hint, of his dead partner. And so I think, what was the point that you worked out what was going on?
As soon as we saw the alien weird device thing, and then we saw how stiffly he was working, I thought, okay, he's an alien of some kind as well. Probably not the same. Probably an alien hunter versus another kind of, And I thought he's some kind of weird body hopping thing as well, because the kid was creeped out. He's been acting all wooden since the beginning.
He's got the same kind of... He's got a fast car that he says he stole, which now you start to think may be true.
Yeah. So we find out that it's, he's not who he says he is. Yeah. And Beck is basically at his end of his rope, and he sits Lloyd down in front of him and says, "Okay, tell me the truth." And he says the truth wouldn't help you. And he's like, "Okay, but just you got to tell me anyway, because otherwise you're going to jail and you're not going out the cell and all the rest of it." So Lloyd tells him the truth. He tells him that it's a spaceman, it's a body-hopping alien. And
I know they can only kill him between bodies, which is the reason they jumped off the building, was because he's got that, which I think is a really clever plot device. It's the only time they can be killed is between bodies, and only with that weapon. So it's like a constantly ticking time bomb, really. Spaceman shit, as Beck calls it from now on.
Yeah. There's a good thing with that gun later on, actually, which I really liked. I didn't see coming at all. So yes, the dog is looking at itself in the mirror, going, "I'm a dog.
I have no boobs.
This is a shame." And it attacks Lieutenant and jumps into his body.
It does. Did you recognise the Lieutenant from another film that we've covered?
No.
He was Last Boy Scout. It's Clarence Felder. He's the I can't remember if he's the police chief in that, actually.
Probably.
He's one of those characters that is always going to be a policeman. Well, it's that character active.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I'm just going back through his IMDb now. I don't know. Well, what year was Boy Scout?
90.
He was McCaskey, apparently, Last Boy Scout. I don't know. Yes, so he's now jumped into the Lieutenant from the dog.
Yes, because the dog jumps on them and knocks him over while he's at the fridge. Never turn your back and get something from the fridge if you've got a dog that's been possessed by an alien. It's one of my things I've learned.
Do you know what I thought was quite amusing about that scene, apart from the dog thing, was the fact that the captain, who's a rather rotund gentleman,
nice.
shall we say, rotund, and mature rotund gentleman, and he opens the fridge, and I thought, he's going to get a beer. He's going to get a beer or a burger somehow, or just a steak and start chewing on it, something like that. What does he do? He gets an apple out the fridge, and when the dog hits him and knocks him over, what lands on him? Strawberries, papaya, tons of other fruit, and I just thought, what? Come on.
Either they changed their mind about that scene, it was all they could get, or they decided to give him a backstory that he's trying to improve his health so he doesn't die young, but he dies anyway.
Or he had a young wife or daughter who's told him he has to eat more healthy, to live longer, and he's like, all right,
maybe there's
a lovely apple. That's what
there's a deleted scene of him and his daughter at the market, and keeps putting donuts back on the shelf.
No, Dad, I know cops normally eat donuts, but look, if you want to see me graduate from high school, you've got to have this. Yeah. Oh, right, I'll have the apples and the stupid fruit. So I loved it. It's the little details that make this film so weird. So fucking weird. Anyway. Go on.
So the other thing that Gallagher reveals at this point is that he's, it's like, basically, I've been hunting this person, but I won't be hunting them any longer anyway, even if you lock me up, because they know I'm here now. My cover is blown because I showed the alien weapon. So if you essentially if you lock me up, then the person's going to hunt me down. So you put me in danger, which I really like, that kind of flip from like hunter to the hunted as well. And also, this is the senator's speech day, so the bit that the foreshadowing you mentioned earlier. And the lieutenant is starting to be quite interested in what's happening on the speech day with the senator.
Yes, so he goes to the police station as the lieutenant, and
he doesn't maintain his cover for very long at all.
No, he runs into someone and he runs into the... does he run into the senator or his senator's people?
Yeah, he sees the senator's people and he starts asking about the security, I think. Yeah. And what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. Yeah. Which is all a bit odd. And then he literally just grabs someone's weapon, I think.
No, he's walking through the station looking for Gallagher because he knows they've been arrested. And that's when the guy in the I love this.
Oh, no, yes, you're right.
So it's
weapon goes
the
off.
bloke in the Lost and Found, or the bit where they collect stuff from people in cells, and he goes, "Ooh, what's this?" And he picks up the grasshopper and decides to have a play with it. The alien gun, and it shoots a hole in the wall and explodes, and the sound of it alerts Gallagher and the lieutenant alien body spaceman.
Who then grabs a gun.
He grabs a cop, shoots him, takes his gun, goes and grabs the machine gun. I can't remember where he gets the machine gun from, but he grabs the machine gun from the evidence locker or something.
I guess, the wall's off the evidence locker.
That's
so
right, he goes in and gets the machine gun out there. And then starts just killing cops everywhere. Yeah. Beck is on his way to the cells to see him.
Yeah.
Oh no, he goes into the evidence room as well, and he sees the alien gun and nicks it before the lieutenant can get it, and then he runs ahead of him to the cells to try and talk to.
Did you notice who one of the other inmates was in a very, very, very short, like 5-second sequence?
It's brilliant, yeah, because he says to the lieutenant, "What's all this hippie stuff?" And then turns him and shoots him with a machine gun. It was Danny Trejo.
It was. That must have been one of his earliest roles.
It's gotta be. But ironic
Let's have a look.
that a man who spent so much of his life in prison before he became an
True.
actor, his first
Very
role
true.
was as a prisoner.
Well,
Typecast.
he didn't have to go to. He didn't have to go to rehearsals.
Just been typecast. This is
his character is called Prisoner.
How typecast
Is it his first film? Let's go. Gosh, he's been in so many films. Hang on.
A lot
lot
of
of
film.
lot of IMDb scrolling. I'm on to my 7th page.
Yep.
Hang on. No, it's not his first role. However, it's his 4th.
It's pretty good.
The one before that was in a film called Penitentiary 3. And the one after this was Death Wish 4.
Oh.
And he was later in a film called Lock Up. Yeah, he was kind of typecast.
Let's be honest, though. He's not going to be a romantic comedy opposite, Charlize Theron or Reese Witherspoon as the love interest. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, he's in a film called Pregoland. I don't know what that's about.
Although I would watch that if he was actually the romantic lead against Reese Witherspoon. As two characters who fell in love.
Guys, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. He's in 11 films that come out in 2018. He's like Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts is in something like 25 films a year now.
He was also in an episode of The Flash the other day as someone's angry dad. Fancy that?
Nice.
This is Danny Trejo.
In prison.
No, he's a body kind of a hunter who hunts down other criminals, but he was someone's angry dad, which I thought was quite amusing, who then threatened to hunt down one of the heroes for fun. Which was hilarious. But anyway. Yes, so the lieutenant is coming into the cells to kill Lloyd. Beck has to force his way in there to get him out. Gives him the alien gun, but it's too late because the lieutenant's coming in and he's shooting everybody, and they're kind of cornered. Yeah, and he's got a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
I've put a note here. He starts to act more like them, but I don't know if I meant Gallagher or if I meant Beck.
I don't know. Because Gallagher gets shot in the leg.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem to slow him down much at all. It's really funny because Beck takes off his tie and gives it to him. He goes, here. And he just looks at it. It's like, what, you want to wear your tie? What am I supposed to do with that? But he doesn't do anything with it. He just puts it down.
No.
Yeah, so they shoot the lieutenant a lot.
They do. But gets a rocket launcher out?
Yeah, and Beck saves the day, basically, because he turns into the cell and goes, bye. And he's about to shoot the rocket launcher when Beck shoots him in the head, which knocks him off course, and he blasts the side door out the cell block instead of killing them both. Yeah. But he makes his escape despite being shot in the head.
He does, and he becomes Detective Willis.
Yes, which was a surprise.
Ed Ross. I'd forgotten that as well. I was like, in my head, he was the lieutenant till the end, and I was like, oh yeah, of course. Which makes it harder because obviously it's a close friend and kind of partner of Beck's.
And he's on the front cover of the DVD.
That's true.
Which was a bit surprising. At this point, I didn't know why until they got to this, and I was like, oh, okay, now I see. Because up to that point, he hadn't been a villain at all, and then suddenly he's now the villain because he's left the police station, and they're trying to find out where Willis has gone, and in the end, they manage to track him down. He's going to, I think it's City Hall?
Yeah, there is a bit of a giveaway. There are about 5 different covers for this, and posters for this film.
Yeah.
The usual one doesn't have that in it. There's a few different ones. Although one of them has the strap line or the log line is "It's only human on the outside," which is a bit of a giveaway.
I think so. Yeah. Here's the good twist with the alien gun that I really liked.
Yeah.
He said, "Why didn't you just use the gun on him when he was a lieutenant?" And so Gallagher shoots Beck with the gun. And I thought, what's he done with the grasshopper? And I thought, what's he done that for? Nothing happens. It just kind of he glows on him, and he goes, it doesn't work on human flesh. That's why I can only kill him between bodies. I went, okay, that's really good. Either he thought of that from the start, or they got through the first draft, and as they start to make this film, someone
doesn't make any sense.
Excuse me, why don't you just use the alien gun on him?
Yeah, to make him come out and then hit him again. Yeah.
But that was a really good kind of, okay, saved. We can carry on now. Moment. But yeah.
So I'm trying what happens to does things get worse for Beck now? I think it does, doesn't it? Or when they get to the...
So Eda Ross is now the alien. He's running along, shooting everybody. They're chasing after him. They've shot him a few times. They corner him in the kitchen, and they shoot him a few more times. Beck shoots him, and then his gun's empty. And that's when he for some reason, he holds up his hands and drops his gun. And, of course, the alien just shoots him twice in the stomach.
Yeah.
Gallagher's obviously distraught, but he can't really do much for him because he knows that the body's damaged and he's going to jump soon. And he can guess where he's going. And he goes through all of the senator's security, finds him in a cornered room, and we don't see it, but we assume he's jumped into the senator. And I thought the woman had seen it, but she hadn't.
Yeah.
She hadn't seen it. She looked horrified, but I thought it's because she'd seen what happened. But from the angle where she was hiding in the cupboard, she didn't see anything.
Yeah. I know the senator gets on stage. There's his press conference. Announces he wants to be president. This may explain what happened in America a couple of years ago. Similar thing. And then so Gallagher turns up, doesn't he? And again, doesn't hold.
Well,
he just goes straight in.
Beck's been taken away in an ambulance.
That's right. He's bleeding out from the stomach.
It's all gone pear-shaped. Mm-hmm. I think he's gone with him to the police station originally, just to see that he was okay, or seen him in the back of the ambulance or something. But then he comes back to where later on the senator is making a speech anyway, regardless of what's happened. They don't know. Yeah. It's a press conference, actually, about why the cop went crazy and killed everybody.
That's right.
And I think in passing asks, are you still going to run for president? And he says, I want to be president.
Yes, and with his stiff shoulders.
Yep.
The trouble is, I think the good thing in a way for the story is that, every time it moves, they explain it. Oh, that's the person. No, it's the lieutenant. Our lieutenant's gone crazy. Oh, actually, the other detective, he's in on it. He's gone crazy. He's trying to kill the senator. Yeah. Well, we've got, he's dead. So actually, this is the senator. And so, up to now, Gallagher's been able to kind of go, well, I'm going after the person we're all going after. But now he's going after the senator, who, as far as everyone is concerned, is the senator.
Yeah.
So this is the first time he basically is in harm's way himself, really, because he hasn't got the facade of being in the FBI. Now it looks like he's in on, there's the senator they think is going to be assassinated, and he's trying to get past security, running through with...
He's got a bag.
Yeah.
I didn't know. There was a clue to this earlier, but I didn't know they were going to do it. So he shows his FBI badge, and they go, "Oh, what's in the bag?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just," and he barges the security out the way and starts running. So suddenly you've got this maniac lone gunman who's trying to kill a senator. It's the Dead Zone all over again. You've got this senator who wants to be president, and you've got a crazy lone gunman running towards him. They've shot Gallagher a few times, but he keeps going.
Yeah. But then I think this, the alien doesn't really care for any kind of etiquette or it doesn't actually care that anyone knows.
Away, really.
Yeah, straight away shoots back.
And it could be on the stage, grabs his gun, shoves him out the way, and then tries to shoot Gallagher as well. Who then pulls a hell of a whopper out of his bag.
Yes,
it's a flamethrower.
It is,
and he just, even though he's on his knees, he tortures the senator. Absolutely tortures him, and everyone's horrified and freezes. There's like 12 guns pointed to Gallagher's head whilst he's knelt down, and that's when everybody in the room sees the body go up in flames. It dies, and the creepy worm pops out.
Yeah, and every time I see this, I go, but now everyone has seen the creepy worm. You could have made this film in a way that no one ever knew, which I think might have been slightly neater.
But how would you have killed it without it being seen by everyone?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't know. but I mean, it would be quite nice if in the film the only people that knew were the two main characters and the audience. It would have to have been
a lot quieter ending in a way in order to kill the senator to then... But yes, so he then shoots it with the grasshopper little alien gun, kills it, and it's over. Mm-hmm. The alien is dead. Hooray! But is it over?
But is it over because Beck is in hospital and he's not feeling great?
His condition's really bad because you see that the wife is in tears talking to the doctor. You can't hear what the doctor's saying, but she's crying. Then she tries to compose herself, goes out into the corridor to talk to the daughter, and the daughter's going, "How's Daddy?" And the mum's like, he's just resting. Yeah.
Yes, and then Gallagher goes in to visit him.
But he's alive. Despite being shot 8 times, he's in another room in the hospital without security. Bit of a plot hole there.
Yeah, this is true, but equally, Well, they just seen him. That's why I don't know. I don't know what the stakes are now. I don't know what the situation is because yes, he did kill a senator, but everyone also saw a giant alien slug crawl out of his head, which I think would be a news story. I think
so. Yes.
In a social media and everyone carrying a camera around world, I think this film would have ended quite differently.
Yeah, because someone just goes, "Look," and they all see the thing crawl up his mouth. But yeah.
But anyway, so he goes to see him, and I hadn't. Again, you can look at this from a couple of points of view because Gallagher's been shot, so maybe his body is failing. What's your take on why the next thing happens?
Yeah, should we say what it is? So, Lloyd Gallagher gives him the alien kiss of life, I've written.
Yeah, but it's not a slug.
No, it's glowing.
It's a beautiful light.
Yellow light, alien dust that goes from Lloyd into Gallagher, into Beck. And then Beck recovers and Lloyd dies.
But in my head, Lloyd is now in Beck's body.
Well, this is the thing. They don't confirm it. It's up to you to decide, I think, because the wife and daughter come in, see that he's awake, see that he's okay and his heartbeat's quite strong, and they see Lloyd and think, oh no, what's wrong with him? And they take him out and he's obviously dead. And then the daughter comes in and he holds out his hand towards the daughter and she hesitates for a moment and then she walks forward and takes her dad's hand. So you're either supposed to think Lloyd sacrificed himself and gave his life essence, whatever, to save Beck.
Because I guess, which is another good reason that it's not a slug. I know they're not necessarily the same.
It's a different alien, we knew that. He tells you what kind of alien it is, but I can't remember.
But I've always taken it that he's taken his place.
That's the other alternative.
So that the family aren't sad. But that's a bit creepy.
I think so, yeah.
I was thinking about, it's a similar ending to Face Off, where they adopt the son. Mm-hmm. It's got that kind of, it's a lot more poetic and poignant than most B-movie with this higher kind of shootout rate.
I think what you're supposed to think is that because he liked Beck so much and because he knows he's a good cop and he said, you're a good father and you're a good cop, I think he sacrificed himself and it isn't actually Lloyd. I think Beck is actually back. But because the daughter senses some of it, because he's not completely human anymore in some ways, I think she can kind of sense it, but it's also still her dad, so...
Maybe, if not, you're in kind of Superior Spider-Man territory where the wife is sleeping with someone and it's not who she thinks she is.
Yeah. They've left it open on purpose so you can discuss it, but I think he did the right thing and it is Beck. You see, the sequel you could have is where Beck suddenly develops these slightly weird marginal alien powers because he's now a bit alien because of what Gallagher gave him, But if you did it the other way and you made it creepy, and then suddenly you've just got him in the other guy's dead body, that's just wrong. That's a darker and more brutal ending.
Well, in the sequel, they say the good alien still inhabits Tom Beck's body and has been waiting just in case eggs hatch.
Right.
So, because it goes out, Beck's daughter, grown up, played by Kate Hodge, is a cop in it. She's the main character in the sequel. Mm-hmm. Who was raised by... Do you know what? I think I might have seen it.
Oh, no.
I think I might have seen it once.
Once was more than enough.
Yeah. I mean... yeah. The Hidden did actually have a small cinema release. It did have a cinema release, but this was a direct-to-video sequel from 1993. Oh, yeah, and see, Tom Beck is still in it, but played by Michael Weldon, who doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. It's not a good sign.
It's not. No.
But this film was actually... I don't think that many people have seen it, but the Rotten Tomatoes score from critics was 76%, and from the audience is 72%, which is actually pretty high.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. So I'm interested... because I guess then the film ended.
Yes, film ends.
I'm interested in your take on it because you first, if we're going to go to scores, because you were the hidden virgin.
I'm not.
As it were.
Moving on, let's go with some scores.
Enough with the yak. What is your score?
So, given that this was the first time I'd seen this and I didn't know it was a sci-fi film, when the alien stuff kicked off, I just thought, what the fuck is going on? But I went along with it. I remember that it was made in the late 80s, and this kind of stuff happened a lot. The special effects weren't brilliant, but then again, they were of its time, and they were good for that. I think the cast were good. Michael Nuri definitely downplayed, sort of very subdued character, not flashy and overt, and he didn't have any stupid tics. Like, some actors give their characters weird tics to try and make them memorable. You didn't need it. And Beck works really well as a character, and you believe him. Obviously Gallagher's slightly artificial, and you find the reasons why. The supporting cast is very good, and some surprising turns from people like Claudia Christian. Moving swiftly past that. I'm having flashbacks with dollar signs. Dollar bikini. It was an interesting film. I'll give it that. It kept my attention. It was certainly surprising throughout. Lots of action, lots of shooting, a lot of guns, a lot of bullets were used in the making of this film. It was all right. I've seen worse. I've seen better, but I've seen worse too. So I don't know. I'm torn, really, on what score to give it. I think I'll give it 3. I think it's an okay film. It's probably not something I'd watch again now that I've kind of seen it once. But
we're doing the sequel next month, aren't we?
It's my choice, so let's wait and find out. Okay, go on.
Okay, so it's a very 80s film.
Yeah.
It's definitely a B movie. It does mash up 2 genres, which I like. It is like a poor man's Lethal Weapon in a way, but it reminded me a bit of Alien Nation, which came out a year later as well. One of the reasons I chose it was I'd just seen Bright, which has got, not quite the same, but it's got kind of an otherworldly buddy copness to it, and I think this is stronger. I've quite enjoyed introducing you to it because I think some of the films in the previous episodes, like Blind Fury, Stone Cold, Rapid Fire, are all from this kind of era, late 80s, early 90s, films that didn't, have big stars and didn't have a big fanfare. But I really like elevated B movies, and I think what I like about this in particular is I think the script is really clever, and I think there's a lot of nuance and subtlety to it, not to the big shootouts and not to the car chases, but to the bits that go around it. It plays with humor really, really well, and I think it's more character driven than you expect a film. When you describe it, a film about an alien that's like a slug moving from person to person, you don't expect there to be that much character depth to it.
No.
But I think there is. I think it puts a lot of modern blockbusters to shame in terms of that kind of thing. The final act starts to get a little bit tenuous near the end because they kind of rinse the kind of premise. I think the ending's really clever, but we just had that conversation about it. So I think that again, it's a brave ending rather than just a really kind of simple one. So yeah, it's definitely a 4-bag film for me because it's I've seen it many times. I've bought it. I've watched it lots of times, and I think it's a bit of a cult classic.
Wow, 4. Wow, that's
only one more than 3.
Well,
were you in between 2 and 3?
Yeah, because 3 sort of average, I would say.
Yeah.
4.
I'd almost say
high ground.
I think every film starts on a 3, and then it's from there it moves. When it starts, when you press play, it's on 3. That's like that's the mean, and then it's like it goes one way or the other, and it can stay in a. But to me, I suppose it's very different for you watching it in 2018 as a 26-year-old man.
Yep.
To me, having watched it as a 13, 14-year-old with my dad, and then later buying it on one of those kind of gold-edged $5.99 videos that used to get lots of films on because they weren't very popular, like Best of the Best and this thing up on the same day. So yeah, maybe that's why. But I think looking at it back, particularly for me, a film with this much kind of world building and plot that actually doesn't just tell the audience everything that's happening and lets it kind of tease its way out, I think it holds up well. But there's a 3.5 average is not bad at all.
Yeah. So if you can find it, if you can track down a copy somehow in a video cassette bargain basement book it somewhere, do so, or online somewhere if you can find it in some sort of video catalogue thing. Have a look and let us know what you thought of The Hidden. Right, so my choice for the next film.
Okay.
I'm not going to go for The Hidden 2. Sorry, Pete.
Oh, man.
We're going to go for a film from last year, from 2017. And this is currently available on Netflix UK. So if you're on Netflix, you can watch it for free. This is The Foreigner, starring Jackie Chan.
Oh, okay.
Action.
This is one of those ones, I saw the first trailer and assumed it was a cinema release and then realised it was a Netflix movie.
It looks really good. Lots of action.
Martin Campbell directing. GoldenEye and Zorro.
Yes. There's a link there to GoldenEye. It's
okay. Yes.
Pierce Brosnan is also in the cast of this.
Yeah.
It's got a good cast, actually. Really good cast. As well as the main man, Jackie himself.
Yeah.
So, it's an action film. I can't really say too much about it without spoiling it, but have a look on Netflix if you can, or other places to find it. And we'll be talking about that in February.
Excellent.
So in the meantime, if you've seen The Hidden by some miracle, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you not? Get in touch with us and let us know. You can email us bagsofaction@gmail.com, come onto the Facebook group and talk to us there. We're on Twitter @bagsofaction. And of course, to support this podcast and all of the others on the Geek Syndicate network, please go to patreon.com/Geek Syndicate. Right then. That's it.
I forgot what I was supposed to say.
Good night.
Good night. We came up with an ending and I've forgotten it after one episode of using it.
Come on, Pete. Good night.
Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are.
Well done.
You have been listening to Bags of Action. No bullshit. You'd better stick around for the next episode, because if you're lying, I'll be back.